Right then, 6 test matches, 3 completely different venues, but in the end, one absolutely definitive result. This was, a proper classic contest. It pitted the sheer, awesome depth of a champion team against the singular, almost heroic genius of one man. It really asked a fundamental question of Test cricket, didn't it? Can one great player, I mean truly great, actually conquer a great team?
All right, so here's how we're going to break this down for you. We'll start with the deadlock at Lord's. Then we'll head to Chennai for the big decider, and finish up with all the drama under lights in Adelaide. We're going to take you right through it, test by test, to see just how that 4-2 scoreline happened.
So you can really think of this campaign as being fought in 3 distinct chapters. First up, you've got the opening stanza in England at Lord's, with that Duke ball swinging all over the place under those classic grey skies. Then, a complete change of pace, a brutal trial by spin in the searing heat of India. And, for the grand finale, a modern twist, day-night cricket in Adelaide with the pink ball. We're talking 3 completely different sets of conditions, each demanding a totally unique skill set from the players.
And this is the heart of the story, isn't it? The core conflict. On one side, you've got Terminator, and just look at that depth. You've got Tendulkar piling on the runs. You've got Warne taking wickets for fun, and then blokes like Kallis just consistently chipping in. And on the other side, Ryuk. A bloody good team, but a team that so often looked to its captain, Steve Smith, to pull a miracle out of the hat.
Right, let's get into it. We start at the home of cricket, Lord's. The pitch was what you'd call a neutral green top, really. It gave both sides a proper chance to make a statement right at the start. And, well, after those first 2 tests, the series was perfectly poised, wasn't it? 1-1. Neither side had managed to land that killer knockout blow just yet.
So, the very first test. And straight away, this table tells you pretty much everything you need to know. Steve Smith, mate, he put on an absolute clinic. Centuries in both innings. It was just this incredible act of supreme resistance. But, and it's a big but, on the other side, Sachin Tendulkar's magnificent 108 was what set up a huge first innings lead. So yeah, Smith was unbelievable, but it was Tendulkar's 100 that really shaped the match.
And you see, that's the theme of the series right there in the very first match. Despite Smith's historic, almost single-handed effort, it was Terminator's collective strength that secured a really quite comfortable 8-wicket victory in the end. Their bowlers, Marshall and Akram, they shared 6 wickets in that first innings, and then their entire batting lineup contributed to building that crucial lead. It's a perfect illustration, isn't it? Team depth trumping individual brilliance. Terminators go 1-0 up.
But hang on, Ryuk weren't about to just roll over and take it. No way. In the second test, on the very same ground, they fought back magnificently, and the whole thing started right at the top, at the coin toss. This time, Steve Smith won it, and crucially, he chose to bat first, put the pressure straight back on those Terminator bowlers.
And what a decision that turned out to be. Batting first, Ryuk piled on a massive 462. Smith, once again, was the anchor with a majestic 138. I mean, that's his 3rd century in just 2 matches. Just incredible. But the key this time was that he had support. Hayden and Villiers both pitched in. In reply, Tendulkar of course got another 100, but it just wasn't enough. And in that final innings, it was Ravichandran Ashwin who really stepped up for Ryuk, taking 4 massive wickets to seal a 98-run victory. And just like that, the series is level, 1-1.
And so, we head to Chennai. Talk about a change of scenery. From the green-seeming wickets of Lord's to the dry, dusty, turning pitches of India, this was the pivotal stage of the series. These next 2 tests were going to decide the whole thing. And in these conditions, one bloke was about to cast a massive shadow over everyone else.
Yeah, this quote really does say it all, doesn't it? On a Chennai turner, hope goes to die. A Chennai pitch on day 3 or 4, it's a spinner's absolute paradise, and frankly, a batsman's worst nightmare. The ball grips, it turns, it spits off the surface. It's a place where any technical flaw is just brutally exposed. Now, Ryuk had a world-class spinner in Ashwin, no doubt. But Terminator, well, they had an artist. A magician. They had Shane Warne.
And this chart here, it just shows you how much the conditions completely dictated the contest. Just look at that difference. The world-class quicks, the pacemen, they were almost taken out of the game entirely. This was a battle fought and won by the spinners, plain and simple. Across these 2 tests in Chennai, it was all about who could master the art of turning the ball and who could somehow survive it.
Warne's dominance in Chennai was, well, it was absolute. In the 3rd test, he takes 9 wickets as they cruise to a 10-wicket win. But in the 4th test, he was on another planet entirely. 12 wickets in the match. He just used that Chennai dust to get the most vicious turn and bounce, and he combined it with that legendary drift through the air. He was, for all intents and purposes, unplayable. It was a one-man demolition job, and it's what clinched the series. The results in Chennai were just brutal. A 10-wicket win followed by a 106-run win. Now, you got to give credit where it's due. Sachin Tendulkar was sublime. He scored a century in each of these matches. But let's be honest, the series was won by Shane Warne's 21 wickets across those 2 tests. He was the difference. And so Terminator left India with a 3-1 series lead that Ryuk just couldn't come back from.
Okay, on to the final chapter, Adelaide. Now, the series trophy was already in Terminator's cabinet, but these last 2 tests were far from being meaningless dead rubbers. This was day-night cricket with the pink ball, which is a completely different challenge altogether. This was now about pride, about legacy.
And this tells the story of an unbelievable comeback, a proper heist. Ryuk played brilliantly in their first innings. They piled on 512 thanks to a magnificent 100 from the great Viv Richards. They even got a first innings lead. So chasing a pretty gettable 227 to win, you'd think they were destined for victory, right? But then, Shane Warne decided he wasn't quite done yet. He produces this spell of 6 for 61 that just completely turned the match on its head.
And so, Terminator pulled off this incredible heist, winning by 60 runs. For me, this match was a perfect summary of their champion quality. Even when they were clearly behind in the game, on the back foot, they had a player who could just conjure a match-winning performance out of absolutely thin air. It was a stunning victory, really, and it pushed their series lead to a completely dominant 4-1.
So we're in the final test. The series is gone. Ryuk could have just folded up the tent and gone home. But they didn't. Instead, they played for pride, and they produced their best batting performance of the entire tour. They amassed a colossal 541, built on just fantastic centuries from Matthew Hayden and Viv Richards.
The final act of the series turned into a real nail-biter. Ryuk were chasing just 180, and for a while there they seemed to be cruising. But of course, Shane Warne wasn't finished, was he? He takes another 5-wicket haul, his 6th of the series, by the way, to cause a late collapse and give Terminator a genuine sniff of victory. But this time Ryuk's batting held firm. They managed to scrape home by 4 wickets to claim a really hard-fought and, let's be honest, well-deserved consolation win.
So there you have it. 6 incredible test matches fought out across 3 different continents. The dust has well and truly settled. So now we can step back from the ball-by-ball, the play-by-play, and really analyze what defined this series and what the final numbers tell us about this epic contest.
So the final scoreline, 4-2 in favour of Terminator. It's a comprehensive victory, no 2 ways about it. And it's interesting when you break it down. The contests at Lords and Adelaide were actually split 1-1, which means the entire series, the whole thing, was decided by that 2-0 sweep in Chennai. That was the battlefield where the war was truly won.
And the series stats, man, they tell the final story, don't they? Tendulkar with a staggering 849 runs. Warne with an unbelievable 49 wickets. They were the 2 absolute titans for the winning side. But have a look at the other names there. Smith matching Tendulkar with 4 centuries of his own. Ashwin with the best bowling figures in an innings. It just goes to show you that while Terminator had that series-winning duo, Ryuk's key players produced some truly world-class, unforgettable performances.
And this quote, this really gets to the very heart of the matter. It is the cruel beauty of Test cricket that such individual brilliance can't overcome the imbalance of a team. I mean, what more could Steve Smith possibly have done? He scored nearly 700 runs, 4 magnificent hundreds. He was a giant. But in the end, it simply wasn't enough. Test cricket is the ultimate team game, and his heroic, almost lonely battle against a deeper, more balanced, and ultimately more complete Terminator side, that really is the defining narrative of this entire series.
So, all that leaves us with this final question to chew on. What is the greater legacy? Is it the trophy won by a team, or is it the battle fought by a giant? Terminator, they walk away with the silverware. Their names are etched in the history books as this series winners, a testament to their incredible collective strength. But will we remember their victory more than we remember Steve Smith's defiant, brilliant, and, ultimately tragic resistance? It's a question about what we value most in sport, really. And it's one that this incredible series just leaves us all to ponder.